In this video, guys, I'm going to show you a really nice route that's going to beat the meta of putting clouds in 30 yards and force people out of that defense and make them scramble.
All right, guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun white trip sweep. Pros X go. On one. Ready?
Right.
What's going on, everyone? Incap24 here from HuddleGG. And today we're going to talk about a new meta that's starting to surface a little bit more. And you can see that on the screen, Mike Blitz 3 is something that everybody's been using, Cover 4 Show 2. But now lately what people are doing is they're playing a Cover 2 style defense. They're taking their cloud flats, putting them in 30, and using that as the Mable, where they're putting underneath coverages it. So I'm going to call Tampa 2. Unfortunately, we're unable to show you the 30-yard clouds in practice mode, but I'm putting the ball on the 20-yard line so you can visualize that the clouds are going to stop at the 50-yard line, so you can see this a little bit easier. Now, the concept that I'm using a lot comes out of this play double slant, and it's the gun normal Y off close. Now this is out of the Giants playbook. It's in several other playbooks as well, and I want to show you the concept because you can kind of duplicate this if you have these new tight end wheels that you see a lot in a lot of playbooks. I'm in the Chiefs playbook, and I actually use it out of the play called wheel switch, and I'll show you how I do it at a wheel switch also in this video. But let's look at double slant because it's already set up for you. And really what it is, it's having this tight end wheel on the short side of the field and having a post with it, right? And what ends up happening in this situation is that the post will take the deep safety that's in the cover 2, move them more towards the middle of the field. And the A is basically a route in which you can just sit on. What I mean by that is that you're just going to wait until the depths of their players. If they're at 20 yards, you throw it after they're 20 yards. If they're at 25, 30, whatever the case is. But this route typically will get about 45 yards down the field that you can throw it to them before the safety can get to them. If you start throwing it, 60 yards down the field, obviously the guy's going to make up the time when the ball's in the air. But right now, if you look at it, let's visualize that the cloud flat on the right is going to go to the 50-yard line. So typically, I'm just going to put the X on a streak, and that's it. This is usually a coverage defense. Everybody's in a Mable. You wait for the A, and you're going to see how you're going to be able to throw this ball over here. Easy catch. We catch it right about the 30-yard line, which is 20 yards past where the cloud flats would be. Remember, the cloud flats would have been at the 50 if they're at the 30-yard depth. But what you're going to see here is that this post is going to take the safety towards the middle, right? And because he keeps them, inside those numbers, you're going to be able to literally just go ahead and throw it down there. So at this point right now, the cloud flats have already stopped. So we're just going to wait to throw it over their heads. And you can see how we're easily going to be able to throw it there. And the safety is not going to be able to recover, right? So this is a really nice way of being able to attack these cover 2s that have the deep. I get a lot of questions about what do I do? Because what most people are doing right now when they're mabling is they're doing something like this. What I mean by mabling is they're taking their curl flats, putting them at 5 to 10 yards underneath it. And then they're doing something like this to where they're making sure that they have the ability to kind of cover everything. Say it's something like this, right? Where say they're using this guy and they're covering the outsides, they're covering the insides. It's just kind of like, a max out coverage. And these flats are going to go all the way to the 30, basically up to this 50-yard line, right? And they drop a little bit slower. And I'm just going to kind of show you what it ends up looking like. So what we do is this guy's going to be, these guys are going to be like this. This guy's going to be kind of over here. This guy's going to end up in the middle right over here. And you can see that they're covering, as they're slowly dropping, they're covering, 5 deep in the back, right? But they're not covering behind this, right? So it looks like, and this guy's going to end up going over here. This guy's going to end up over here. And, basically, it's more like this. It's a little bit more shallow. And this guy has to roam everything, right? But by the way that they all drop back, it doesn't look this open in the middle. It's just kind of where it works. So when they end up doing that, that's the final product. What we're looking to do is attack over those cloud flats. So I'll just kind of just show it to you here, just kind of see it. But you're going to see that these cloud flats are not going to cover past that 50, so you're going to be able to hit it. Now, I told you I'm in the Chiefs playbook, so I like wheel switch. I'm going to show you how I do wheel switch. And I think something that's very underrated this year is outside apprentice, and I'm starting to use it. And what I do here is I call wheel switch flipped, and I'll call cover 2, And then what you're going to do here is I'm going to put my player on the right who has outside apprentice on a post. Then I'm going to flip the play. So now I got the post. So if you're in a book that doesn't have that one play that we showed you earlier, the double post, but you want to do this concept, you can absolutely do this concept, right? It's just a matter of being able to do it, get outside the pocket a little bit. This guy's in my face, so we'll still throw it. But you're going to see how we're going to have some good ability to get that pretty good. So another play I like to do in this formation, it's kind of a little bit different, but it's going to give you like a hedge bet against this type, that if they're playing deep or shallow. I'm going to go the Y sail play here, call cover 2, and I'm going to move it over here because it's going to work when you have it to the ball to the wide side of the field where the tight end has more room. We're going to actually motion the tight end out. And when you do that, you're going to have this nice little ability to have this corner route. And what ends up happening if they're playing normal cover 2, meaning just Tampa 2, no depths, you can see that this gets over that player really easily, right? But when they go ahead and put them at 30, what you're going to see is, remember that the guy is going to be breaking at the 50-yard mark, right? Like they're going to go back to the 50-yard mark. So this is going to split the zones because the B has this really nice angle that goes towards that player. So if you imagine that the guy's at the 50, you're going to see that you have the ability to now split the zones because you're throwing this ball underneath it and being able to. If you want to smart route it, you're going to have that ability as well. If you really want to make sure that this guy is underneath it, so you can see how I took that route and went down with it. But these are just two little plays to do if somebody's doing this cover 2 deep. A lot of times with the Mable, because what you're doing at this point is you're just basically throwing this underneath that 30 and being able to do it. I'll typically start off with doing a concept like this to kind of make sure that they might want to lower their cloud flats a little bit to 25 or 20, and that's when you take the wheel and you go over the top. So just kind of want to show you a little bit of some of the stuff that we're seeing as far as meta out there in weekend league. 3-3-5 wide is definitely what we're seeing when it comes to the majority of play calls, whether that's 3-3-5 wide blitz with the Mike Blitz 3, whether it's cover 4 show 2, and now this new double Mable out of cover 2 is really starting to gain popularity, and we want to make sure that we get you ahead of that on a video like this.